Welcome on Texas football. Time to break down the grades. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Gerry Hamilton, talking defensive grades. Gerry, quite a bit different than the offensive grades that we did earlier today. The Longhorns holding Arkansas to an unreasonable amount of yardage on Saturday. Razorbacks finished with just 231 yards of total offense. The Longhorns turned them over twice. The Hogs don't score in the first half. The Longhorns get after them, 6 sacks on the day. What a tremendous, tremendous performance by Pete Kwiatkowski's unit. This is the same unit, Gerry, or the same coach that 3 years ago gave up 300-plus rushing yards to Arkansas in Fayetteville. Turn around on Saturday, they only give up 82, and again, 231 yards overall.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll have the grade of the entire defense at the end, but I can tell you this: it's a lot higher than a C and probably higher than a B. I'll say that. But it was a tremendous performance because they did it in every way. They stopped the run except for one drive. Really, where Arkansas mounted something was one drive. They did a good job on everybody outside of Antonio Armstrong. And Armstrong had a couple of those catches when they subbed out Manny Muhammad, even though Kobe Black had good coverage. Bobby Petrino saw it and went right after him. Pressure was on Taylon Green. Yards per attempt were low for Arkansas. I mean, you look at it, Arkansas was 5 of 12 on third downs. It was just a complete defensive performance when, honestly, they had to have it because the offense did not have a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start off, Gerry, if you don't mind, with the defensive front going all the way across from ends and defensive tackles. Colin Simmons with 2 sacks. Alfred Collins with a sack, a strip fumble, a tackle for loss. Jermaine Lole playing well again. Ethan Burke, very active. Trey Moore gets in on the game and has his first sack of the season. What did you think of the defensive front? Because I tell you what, they got off. I think they got after the passer better in this game than they did any previous game all year. Game of consequence, I think. I really believe that.
No, I totally agree. I mean, Alfred Collins, 7 tackles, 2 for loss, sack. You saw that you said the strip fumble, just a hustle play. You want to talk about players that have elevated their draft stock. The last 4 games, Alfred Collins is really elevating his draft stock. But Barron Sorrell, 7 tackles and a sack. I mean, Ethan Burke, he may not have stuffed the box score, but he was active. Colin Simmons with 2 sacks, now has 6 on the season, continues to rise up that freshman sack chart at Texas, and I bet he gets one against Kentucky next week too. Jermaine Lole, steady, solid football player. Vernon always is flashing. So you look at this group as a whole, and it's hard to not give them an A plus, Bobby. I'm going A plus with this group because if you look at Arkansas had 34 carries for 82 yards. You would have taken that 2.4 rush, even though that's counting sack yards. You'd have taken that all day long. Again, they had mounted really one drive. The running backs for Jaquindon Jackson and Rashad Dubinion, they combined 18 carries for 86 yards, and a lot of Jackson's yards came on one series. There's one scoring series. No points in the first half. They mounted one real drive where you felt threatened. Taylon Green played under duress the entire game. You have to give a defensive line an A-plus grade for Saturday.
Well, I want to say this. I'll add this aspect of it as well. When you really think about it, Arkansas completed one 3rd and 7 or longer.
Yes,
and that's because the pass rush got home. Arkansas, when they had it 3rd and medium or 3rd and short, they were fairly effective. You mentioned 5 of 12. Only 1 came on a 3rd and 7 or longer, and that's because the Texas defensive front was not letting Arkansas get into its pass routes because they were on top of them.
I mean, look, Bobby, if you go on the road in the SEC and I say you're going to give up 231 yards and 10 points, you're going to grade that team an A every time and walk out the door.
Yes. Doesn't matter who you're playing.
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree. So, look, I think an A plus.
Yeah,
I'm fine with either of those. Not even an A minus. They also, I mean, look, the strip by Alfred Collins was a hustle play and one that was all important because at that point in time, it was still a 2-score game, right?
Right.
Or it was a 2-score game. Arkansas is going down to try to bring it back within 1 score. If they even get in field goal range, they can do that. A big play by Alfred Collins. Texas did not give the ball back after that. I thought that was absolutely huge. So, yeah, we agree on the defensive line. All right, Jerry, what about the linebackers? I got to ask you because they felt a little other than Leonga Lafau, who made a play in the backfield at least once, Anthony Hill did not seem to have his best game. He wasn't disruptive, as his typical case might be. And Arkansas was making some ground on the interior at times against those linebackers. What did you think of the linebacker group? Because I feel like that one could have been graded a little bit lower than maybe the rest of the defense.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Look, that's as quiet of a game as Anthony Hill's had this season at Texas. And you had to read a lot of keys in this game because Taylor Green, you had quarterback counters and quarterback power. You had the run game, which Arkansas leaned on the left side and would bring, and they'd run it to the right just to keep you honest. So there was a lot going on for the linebackers in this game. And Luke Hans, a tight end, and he'd been playing better as of late. They've been getting the ball. So more on the linebackers' plate this week because of the Taylor Green and that QB run game. I would probably give those guys a B- to B, probably a solid B, because there weren't any terrible busts, right? There weren't any big chunk yardage QB runs or runs where you said, okay, linebacker misfit here, and now you've given up a 30-yard explosive, which flips a field or anything like that. I'm going to give those guys a solid B.
All right, I want to read you 3 stats. Leonga Lafau led the linebackers with 5 tackles.
Yeah.
Not unsurprising. He's a middle linebacker. David Benda was second with 3 tackles. And then you had Anthony Hill only having 2 in the game. So really tough sledding there for the linebackers as a whole. Again, tough assignment given the quarterback, et cetera.
And here's the other thing: the defensive line had so many tackles for loss, sacks, that they ate up some of those linebacker plays in this game as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that completely. Hey, we want to say thank you to one of our key sponsors. That sponsor is Carrot Concierge. Our friend Jody Reynolds has been taking care of folks there at Carrot Concierge with an office in Westlake. Jody focuses on helping men purchase that special gift for the woman in your life. You can use the QR code on the screen to see even more, or visit her on Instagram or her website, thecarrotconcierge.com as well. Jody prides herself in providing personal service. She takes the extra steps to make sure your lady gets exactly what she wants. Because she doesn't have the overhead of a storefront, she can often get higher quality inventory at lower prices, as much as 30% less. If you're looking for something special for a birthday, anniversary, and with Christmas right now around the corner, Jody has a variety of bracelets, rings, necklaces, and more, all beautiful jewelry, all personalized for you and yours. Check out thecarrotconcierge.com. Visit her website or give her a call or text and take care of that special someone in your life. Thanks, Jody, for your sponsorship of On Texas Football. Jerry, I got to ask you next about the secondary. Jahdae Barron, my goodness. I know Travis Hunter is out there at Colorado, probably going to get the Thorpe. But Jahdae Barron, 4 interceptions, comes down with another one, has a sack, has a tackle for loss, has a pass breakup. I mean, early in the season, you and I were saying, is he going to keep his job at nickel, or is Jalen Gilbo going to take over? Well, it's pretty clear. He earned the job at corner. And look what he's doing right now. Amazing output from Jahdae Barron.
Yeah, Bobby, you got to give the secondary an A just off of Jahdae Barron in this game. I mean, like you said, hey, all he needed was a scoop and score, right? To have a grand slam in that game. And then how well Michael Taft's playing with 8 tackles and a recovery. Manny Muhammad, Armstrong's a really good receiver. Manny Muhammad did his job because Armstrong had 2 of those catches when they subbed Manny out, and the one throw, the 150-50 ball was against Kobe Black, which is good coverage by Kobe, by the way. But this secondary, 25 pass attempts, 149 yards for Arkansas, 6 yards a completion. You take that on the road all day, or 6 yards at attempt. You take that all day. They didn't give up any true explosives. They played well in the run game against big backs. They helped clean up against Taylor Green a couple of times, but they made plays again. And you know what? Michael Taft's always seemingly in the right spot to pick up the fumble recovery.
I was going to say, if there's been a player that's more Johnny on the spot than him in Texas football history, I'd like to shake his hand. Yeah. He literally just always seems to be around the football some which way. And that happened again.
And I'd be remiss. Jalen Gilbo, solid as well. I mean, right? And that Armstrong got him when they lined him up in the slot one time when Petrino hunted that. Okay, but Armstrong's an NFL player. He's a good player too, right? But I wanted to mention Jalen Gilbo continues to be solid as well. So you look at the secondary, you look at the starting secondary, and then Makuba obviously off the bench made a couple of plays as well. Normally a starter. Jelani McDonald got the start. We were worried when Derek Williams went out with the ACL. They picked up the slack. I give the secondary an A+ Saturday, Bobby.
Yeah, the only thing I could tell you about this game that I would be negative. I think Jelani McDonald oversaw what he thought he could do against Taylor Green early.
Yeah,
he rectified that later, but really that was a big piece of this and one of the things that did cause some issues. All right, I'm going to go with A- for the secondary. I do think that they got, and you know what? I should just go an A. The turnover, the fumble recovery, not really allowing, as you said, many explosives. I mean, no other receiver at Arkansas did anything all game long. There was only Andrew Armstrong. Satania didn't do anything. It was a true defensive effort. I'm going to go A there for the secondary. Jerry, let's talk about the defense as a whole now, because this is starting to get into rarefied air. We're talking about Texas potentially being the number 1 ranked defense in the country.
Yeah.
They played like it on Saturday. No points to a team that had been scoring points against just about everybody. Only gave up 10 throughout the game. And this is after a week off to get healthy.
Correct.
That Arkansas had. And to draw up some plays against the Texas defense.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work. This Texas defense, I don't know if they're dominant, but man, they're really, really talented, really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch because they play together and there's a connectivity that basketball coaches would love watching this Texas football defense play, right? That connectivity, that everybody playing for each other mentality. They have this thing figured out in terms of communication, play for each other, everybody on the same page, everybody pulling the rope the same direction. I mean, all those analogies you want to use. This defense, Saturday was another test for them, and they passed it with flying colors. And you know what? Now they get Kentucky, and then they have A&M, 2 offenses that aren't prolific. I mean, so this thing is really setting up well for this Texas defense to legitimately finish potentially 1 in the country, if not number 2. But again, anytime you go on the road and you give up 231 yards and 10 points, it's hard to not give that team an A+. And that's what I'm doing. I'm giving the Texas defense an A+ because they wreaked havoc. They had 6 sacks against an athletic quarterback. You know what? They had a mismatch with the right tackle from Arkansas. What'd they do with the mismatch? They dominated the mismatch. It's not like they didn't put up the numbers against him that some other defensive ends or outside backers did. Colin Simmons had 2 sacks. Trey Moore had a sack. I mean, so they dominated the matchup where they needed to. They made the big plays when they needed to. And they just have great connectivity and belief in each other. And that's what really makes tremendous defenses. And when everybody's got each other's back, if you're talented enough, these guys have each other's back.
I like the fact that they're having playmakers on each level of defense. Alfred Collins has turned into that. Colin Simmons is that. Barron Sorrell can be that at times. I mean, they've got defensive linemen. They've got Anthony Hill at linebacker. Leonga Lafau continues to get some tackles for loss. And then you have Jahdae Barron back there and Michael Taft, who are playmakers of sorts for the Longhorns right now. It's a pretty good thing to see. All right, let's move on to special teams, if you don't mind, because this was not a shining moment for Texas special teams. Texas didn't lose the special teams war against Arkansas on Saturday by any means, Jerry, but it was far from a pretty day. Texas continues to have problems in the punt game right now.
Yeah, they do. Just they're not able to flip a field. They're not able to grab momentum within a quarter, maybe if you could flip a field and really kind of change the momentum swing with a punt or a special teams play. Now, Burt Auburn made field goals. Kickoff was good. Coverage was really good. Arkansas made a couple of boneheaded returns, but Texas was there to make the plays as well. So I think outside of the punt game, Silas Bolton, I don't know what you think of where he fielded the punt, Bobby, and where you grade that, but it's going to be a wild scene with him. But that probably wasn't ideal. That reminded me of Nathan Vasher in the Cotton Bowl one year, right? But I would give this group, I think you got to give them a B, but you got to give the punting a C, but the whole group a B because they covered well. They had a punt block they should have had. Burt Auburn made field goals, which are key in a game like this. Kickoff and kickoff coverage is solid. So I'm going to go B with the caveat that punting is an issue.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do. I would say more like C. And I'll tell you why. I just think it's extraordinarily average. Texas, if they expand this roster to 105, like they're talking about doing it in April of this coming year and allowing for 105 scholarships, Texas needs to go out. And I'm this is nothing against Michael Kern, who I think has some talent. They need to go out and see if they can't find a better punter even than Michael Kern that maybe has some more experience and proven on this level. That would be my comment there. Like Michael Kern, just right now, Texas not getting it done in that category, not downing the ball inside the 20 and not even making it to the 20 several times as well, an issue overall. But we can say all that, Jerry. Texas can hang its hat on its defense. Special teams, a little bit of a part of that. I would say this. If you're looking at the Texas defense right now, you got to realize how far they've come in 4 years. I mean, Jerry, you and I debated whether or not Steve Sarkisian should keep Pete Kwiatkowski after year one. He's been nothing but that this whole year. Teams ranked number one in the country. Only didn't give up any points in the first half. 10 all game. 200 and something yards. 231 total yards in a full football game when you had your starting quarterback and all your starting running back as well on the other side. Just a really yeoman's effort from Texas.
And I got good news for the Texas defense. Kentucky's coming to Austin, so have fun with that.
All right, that'll do it for Gerry Hamilton. I'm Bobby Burton. That's been the defensive grades. We'll be back with more. We got Second Watch with Rod Babers, as well as the live stream later tonight. That'll be it for Gerry Hamilton. I'm Bobby Burton. Hook 'em.